How to create an official high school transcript for a homeschooled student. My name is Lupita Eyde-Tucker, and this video will walk you through the steps to use my year-based transcript template from my official high school transcript template pack. My company, Florida Homeschool Advisor, offers a full range of high school transcript services for homeschooled students, and I'm happy to help at any stage of the process. First, you can order my official transcript template pack by accessing the QR code on the screen. This template pack features the same templates I use for my clients and is perfect for the do-it-yourself homeschool parent. Here are some high school transcript facts. The transcript is the official record of your high school students' academic achievements. Only the school of record can issue official high school transcripts for a student. Your home school is the school of record. Transcripts can be organized by year or by subject. They must only contain credits earned at the high school level or higher, and they must include all credits earned from all sources, including previous schools and dual enrollment. And here's some facts about the school of record and why this is important. When you send a letter of intent or register as a PEP student, your homeschool is the school of record. No matter what curriculum your student uses, even if it's from an actual school, your homeschool is always the school of record. The school of record is homeschool. No other names, no other labels. School official. That's going to be the parent name. So if you are the parent of the student, your name will appear in this field. The transcript must say official high school transcript at the top. It must be signed and dated by the school official. When your student graduates from your homeschool, you should issue an official transcript for your student. But the best thing to do is to start the transcript as soon as your student has completed their first high school credit, even if that happens before 9th grade. Hello. Today I'm going to walk you through the transcript template for the year-based transcript that is in my template pack. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm looking at. Currently, I have up the year-based transcript, and I have inputted a bunch of information here to kind of give you a sense of what the student has earned so far. So, and kind of to walk you through the template so you understand the different parts. So first, let's look at the top of the template. This is the header information. We want this information to be as clear as possible, and we don't need to take up a ton of space. So, for example, if your student is homeschooled, then it's just understood that their school and their home are the same address. So we don't need to repeat that information. So on the left-hand side, you have the student information. On the right-hand side, you have the school information. On the left-hand side, I have the student's name, their address, their gender, and their date of birth. That is all information that they will need to input into an application, so it's good to have that there so they can match it up. You do not need to include your student's social security number on the transcript. That might be something you would input into a college application, but you don't need to put it on the transcript. Okay, next up is the school information, which is on the right-hand side. So the most important thing that a person who's going to be reviewing this transcript is, the first thing is like, what kind of student is this? Is this a public school student? Is this a private school student? Is this a homeschooled student? So we want to establish right off the bat what type of student this is. And that's why we have school of record. Like, what is the school of record of this student? So we want it to be super clear that this is a homeschool. Now, just because I know a variety of people are going to be using this template, Homeschool means that your student is enrolled according to your state's laws as a homeschooled student. In Florida, a homeschooled student is going to be a student that is registered via a letter of intent or a student that is in a PEP program. If your student is in a private school and is an umbrella school student, they're not considered homeschooled under Florida state law. They are considered a private school student, so you would then put the name of the private school there. If your homeschool has a name, like let's say, Tucker Academy or something like that, then you would not put that here because you don't want to confuse the people that are looking at this because that could potentially make them think that your student is a private school student. And then they're going to go look in the private school's database to see if that's a, up-to-date school that's, on the rolls of the state private school database, and they won't find it. And then they're going to get confused, and that's going to distract them tremendously from what they need to be focusing on, which is how awesome your student is and what they have accomplished, right? So we want to try to keep the information as clear as possible to avoid any question marks and any distractions from what they need to be seeing on the transcript. Okay, next up is the school official. That would be the name of one or both of the student's parents. Next up is the email address. So that is the email address of the school official, not the student. Because this is the school information, and that's important that if they need to reach out to the school official, that they have that contact information. The phone number is also going to be the school official's phone number, so the parent. And then the last thing you have here is the graduation date. So this sometimes can be specific, like May 18th, 2026, or it could also be very kind of like general, like June 2026 or May 2026, depending on what stage you're at in building this transcript. So just having something there that is ballpark is perfectly fine. But as your student is getting closer to graduation, you know, you should have a more specific date by mid-senior year, okay? Just so that you know. And I also want to say one thing just as a side tip for those of you who are in Florida. If your student is taking advantage of dual enrollment, the graduation date that you want to set for your student should always be at least one day after the last day of the last semester that they dual enrolled. Because if you graduate your student before the end of the spring or whatever their final semester is, then you could be asked to pay for all of the courses they took that semester. So the student can't graduate before the semester is over. Otherwise, you have to pay for that tuition. Okay, moving on. Now we have the most important information on the transcript, the reason why we have a transcript, and that is to list all of the courses, grades, credits, and the rigor of those courses in an organized fashion. So this is the year-based transcript. So as you can see, we have it broken down by grades. And then there's also a school year attached to each one of those grades. Right off the bat, if we look at ninth grade, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little bit more closely. If we zoom into ninth grade, you will see that this student has 3 math credits under ninth grade. And the reason why is not because they did 3 math credits in ninth grade, it's because they actually completed some high school credit before ninth grade. And because it's high school credit, we want to make sure it's listed properly. It's listed on the high school transcript. So this is where the use of symbols comes in, just to keep things neat and organized and not distract the reader from the important information. The reader of the student's transcript wants to know, what did they take? What was the rigor of what they took? What grade did they get? And how much credit was that worth? They don't care about necessarily when and how and who. That is secondary information. The primary information is what you see here. For example, if you look at Algebra 1, it has an asterisk and a little upside down V. So in the notes section, you'll see that I put an asterisk is for credits earned through Florida Virtual School Flex. That's just something I chose. You can choose something different. Or if the student did perhaps high school credits at a previous school, you would put the name of the school there. It's important that these are denoted as high school credits, okay? So that there's no confusion or questions about that at all. These are high school credits earned and then where they were earned. And then the little upside down V is for those credits that were earned before ninth grade. So high school credit earned before ninth grade. That's why I have that there. So you can use the notes section however you want to, but just I wanted to show you this really quickly because this is where all of that secondary information is going to go. We do not want to clutter up this area here with any secondary information. Okay, so we have the credits that the student earned prior to ninth grade and the credits that the student earned during ninth grade. Now, as you can see, I have grouped everything according to subject just to make things cleaner and easier to read. All the math is first, then the English, then the social studies, then the world language, and then the science. You can choose whatever order you want. That part is up to you. I recommend that if you do choose a hierarchy of the courses that you use it in a way that benefits your student. So like, for example, if your student is an awesome mathematician and is amazing in math, then lead with that, right? In every single year of your student's transcript. But also there is another hierarchy that I want you to pay attention to, which is you want to always stack the deck with core courses first, because that's what they're going to care to see most. Whoever's reading this transcript is going to want to see that first, and then you're going to want to do any electives. Okay, now here in Florida, we only have 1 credit or half credit. There's nothing more, there's not more credit that a student can earn during a school year for one subject than 1 credit. And there's nothing less than a half credit. So if a student has not really earned enough, I should say this in a different way. If a student has not covered enough material to earn a half credit, then that course should not be listed on the transcript. If they have learned enough material, covered enough material to have earned the half credit, then yes, we would put that on the transcript. Okay, and then that's pretty straightforward from ninth grade to 10th grade, same situation. I have a separate video that walks you through how to calculate the GPA, so you'll see that. It's based off of this exact transcript, so you'll see how each one of these correlates to that GPA calculator spreadsheet. And then next up is 11th grade. I want to go through this really quickly, 11th and 12th grade, because there's a little bit of a difference here in terms of the coursework. Now, this is where the student really started doing dual enrollment. And you'll notice from these previous grades that there are no course codes at all in any of this, and that's because it's not necessary. Homeschooled students don't have to have course codes because that's not something that is required for us, right? Course codes are a public school construct. It's something that they use for their system. And that's not something that we have anything to do with here in Florida because we're not under the Florida Department of Education, so we're not required to use those course codes. Even if a student used FLVS, which is a public school, you're not required to put the course codes for those courses here either. I personally feel that it also distracts the eye and clutters up the view of what they actually completed. And I have asked our state university admissions offices if they need to see the public school course codes on a homeschool transcript, and the answer has always been no. So I want to save you from doing that labor. It is unnecessary and it is distracting. Okay. So here in 11th grade, though, the student has done dual enrollment, and dual enrollment is a very specific thing that does require the course codes. And the reason why is because in Florida, we have a uniform course numbering system. So all of the courses that a student takes at a state college, those same courses with those same numbers are offered at our state universities. That's what I mean. It's a uniform state course numbering system between our state colleges and our state universities. So when someone from FSU sees MAC 2311, they know exactly what that means because they have that course too. So we do want to make sure we include these course codes because that is going to help whoever's reading this transcript see exactly what your student has accomplished. Um, and, especially if they're trying to see if a student is already on track to earn an AA or transfer or have credit that's toward a major, like that's super helpful to have those course codes. Um, so here's this student took a lot of dual enrollment credit. I've included the course codes. That's also a visual signal that differentiates these credits from all of the non-DE credits. Obviously, they stand out because they have these codes. I like to help reduce the cognitive load of the person who is reading the transcript because studies have shown that the folks that are reading a transcript for college admissions are spending 60 to maybe 90 seconds tops on your child's transcript. So we want to make sure that when they're spending that little amount of time, that they're gleaning as much information with as little mental load as possible. So we want to give them visual cues that helps them see green lights everywhere. Okay, so then obviously, at the end of each section, we're going to calculate total credits. We're going to include the GPA. This here is, just me, the way I have it. You could delete this. This is all completely customizable. If you're like, I don't want that there, delete, gone. You're not locked into anything, really. You can even change the color of the background of the shaded cells if you wanted to. It's up to you. You make it what you want it to be. Okay, then as you can see, when I have things that are not DE, I personally like to, differentiate those by not bolding them, and then the ones that are DE, I bold them. And then each section has a total credits. Each section has, a GPA. Each section has the school year the student took these courses. It's super clean and easy to kind of like track from year to year. Okay, 3.86, then a 4, then a 4, then a 4. Okay, they did well. They continued. And then you can also compare the total credits. They did, 10.5 freshmen, 9.5 10th grades, 8.5 11th grade, but the rigor is just off the charts. And then 7 credits in 12th grade, but also super high rigor. Okay, like those are things that folks will want to see. So we're making it easy for them to see that information. Okay, last but not least, we talk about the notes section. Here I've added in a bunch of things that you may want to have on yours. For example, it is a transcript, so it's helpful to have the grading scale and the grade points so that they understand what are the basic like mathematics behind the grades and the GPA. If I use any symbols, I break those down here. In 12th grade, you can see that the student is just going into 12th grade, so they don't have grades for any of these courses yet. So for a course that is in progress, I put IP. For a course that is semester 2, actually, I will put FC for forthcoming. That is what I like to use personally, just so that they know. But IP works too. I mean, if it's a school year is in progress, you can use IP. Use whatever makes sense to you. But if you do decide to use FC, then you're going to want to put that down here in the notes. So I will just add that. Again, fully customizable. You can just add something. Done. Okay. And then this particular student ended up doing dual enrollment at 2 different schools, at Seminole State College and at University of Florida. So I wanted to kind of indicate that. Not that it's necessary to do with the symbol. You could also do it in a different way. But here I decided to use some symbols just to kind of give you some options. So I did the superscript 1 is dual enrollment at UF. Superscript 2 is dual enrollment at Seminole State. Okay. Now, at the very end, we have the summary. The summary is going to be how many credits were earned, how many are in progress currently, what is the cumulative core GPA, and what is the weighted core GPA. The calculator spreadsheet, the GPA calculator spreadsheet only calculates a core GPA, but you can add electives if you want to. And I explained why that in that other video. Here, let's recount these credits, make sure I have an accurate count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half. Okay, that's accurate. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and a half. Okay. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a half. Okay, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so let me just add this all up. 10 and a half plus 9 and a half is 20 credits, plus 8.5 is 28.5. And my student has already completed 1/2 credit over here. So this is actually 29 credits, and in progress are 6 and a half. That way, whoever is reading this can see very clearly what is going on with this student heading into 12th grade. Just going to put a little bit more space here. Once a student graduates and we have a final transcript, we can put a statement here at the end that says the student has completed the coursework. Let's put, or rather this here, the credits necessary to graduate from high school, period. Or you can say something like the student has graduated from high school. Just a simple statement to indicate they're done. And then the homeschool parent, this actually is, you're going to want to put your name here. So like, for example, I'm the school official of my homeschool. So I'm going to put my name and I'm going to then sign that right there. And then the date that I sign it, that's when I'm going to put that. Now, let's back this out for just a moment. So homeschool parent, that these two names are going to match, right? Okay. So let me just back this out to give you a visual of what this looks like. Okay. When you complete the transcript, let's say to send it along with an application, the transcript is a snapshot. And you keep adding and then taking a snapshot, which means you'll print it out, you'll sign it, you'll send it off. Each time that you send that, it is an official high school transcript. It's official because you're signing it. You're the school official. This is your official record, a report of what the student has completed. And when your student graduates from high school, finishes all their credits, and you finalize this transcript, that is the last snapshot that you will be taking, and you will sign it and date it again, print it out, send that as the final transcript. That's a final transcript. But the whole entire time, every single time you send one of these with your signature and the date that you printed it out, that's an official transcript. So for example, if you are just starting out with your student in high school and they're in 9th grade, and you know that they want to try out for sports, and the sports requires a GPA for eligibility, you're going to produce a 9th grade transcript with a GPA on it. You're going to sign it and date it, and that's what you're going to send as the official transcript. It's official. It's not final, obviously, because they're still in high school. So hopefully that makes sense. And what I want to say just as one last thing is that this transcript is completely customizable. I have, if you want to add any of the, let's say you have to add more, you just highlight one of the rows, you right click, you click insert, and you can add a row above or you can add a row below. It doesn't matter. That part's up to you. Let's say I add a row below. As you can see, it drops this down a bit. So just to keep things kind of even, I will always try to keep these two even. So if I add one on this side, I want to have this one match as well. That's just me because I like to have it look like symmetrical. So that's a little tip for you as well. If, for example, you need more space for whatever reason, you can drop the, see how that makes that smaller? You can drop the font size and make it smaller. That will kind of move things up a little bit. It's really up to you. You can make it. What I would suggest doing is when you download the templates and you use it for the first time, don't use the actual template. Just make a copy of it. And then that way you always have the source file. Obviously, you can always go back and download the original source file, but just, just trying to think of best practices here. This way you'll know you always have an original clean blank one on your hard drive that you can then, just keep editing an editable one that you made for yourself, like a copy of that. If you already have a transcript for your student, I provide transcript review sessions. These one-on-one Zoom or phone meetings are 1 hour long and would be perfect if you would like a critique of your transcript, for example, for college applications. This service includes the GPA calculations for your transcript, and I'll send you my GPA calculator spreadsheet after our meeting. Instead of purchasing my transcript template pack or scheduling a transcript review, you can order my complete transcript service. This is ideal for parents who want a full service option. I'll create and maintain your student's transcript through high school graduation. It will contain all of their high school credits earned from all sources. For more info and support as you navigate homeschooling the high school years, subscribe to my Substack, The Path to Graduation. You can also watch my videos on multiple homeschooling topics on my YouTube channel and visit my Linktree for more resources. Lastly, visit this QR code to schedule a consultation with me, including a transcript review. And thank you for watching. And if this video was helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share with a fellow homeschooling parent.